Hello there, this is Rom Wills back at you again with yet another car video. Road Ramble. Sometimes you just have to push it. And I'm not giving this Road Ramble a number and stuff because at some point I'll just run out of, I'll forget where I am and stuff. And you know, some of y'all get in the comments and say, yo, man, you know you already did number 21. Or somebody else will say, hey man, I think your count is off. And you know the trolls, they be like, that big nigga can't count. Yeah, but this is just a road ramble. Sometimes you gotta push it, man. Yo man, you know, if you see me early in the morning now, do these road rambles coming from the gym, man. Yo man, I was just in there, man. Hey, this big old white boy in there. You ever see those big white boys? They just big, like, they so big and buff and whatever. You pray they like black people? Like, you don't want to, like, anything pop off racially, you be like, damn, I hope he one of those cool dudes who grew up around some brothers, because you know you don't want to fight them. And for the smart ones who will say, I'll just shoot him. Nah, this dude's so big, he look like the most you could do with a bullet is just annoy him and shit. You shoot him and shit, he'd be like, God. Like this and shit. It's like, oh, damn, man, you better get a better caliber. Yeah, man. This big old dude in there, up there, like, curling 150-pound barbells and whatnot, man. 150-pound barbells. Not just curling them, but like it's nothing to curl them. Who's this? Is this my person? Hold on. Hey, Heather. Heather. Oh, that's somebody else. Yeah, that's somebody else. That was one of my buddies and whatnot, right? Anyway, right? Yeah, I be yelling out the car door. But yeah, this dude bench pressing 150-pound barbells, built like he's a stunt double for Thanos and whatnot. It's like shit. Wouldn't even need the CGI with this motherfucker. Just paint him purple. Oh man. But you know, and that's, you know, to get to the point, right? Well, let me start off with a story. I'm gonna tell a story. I ain't tell a story in a while, right? Like when I was a freshman in high school, I went out for freshman football. Made it past the first cut, but didn't make it past the second. One thing I didn't have, at that time, I ain't have any football experience. Never played organized sports at that point. All I had was just raw athletic ability. And, you know, they weren't necessarily happy. Yeah, they trying to win right away. Ironically, some gym teachers tried to get me to go out for JV and varsity. Ironically, I almost did go out for like varsity and stuff, but then I was actually a better soccer player. And believe it or not, y'all see me all big, but I was like real slim back then. I ain't have an idea I could actually put on weight back then. But anyway, right? It was a valuable lesson I learned playing, you know, that little bit of time playing freshman football, or being on the team rather, right? Going out for it. Because after every practice, no matter how grueling, no matter what we did, we had to run wind sprints. And basically run wind sprints until the coaches got tired. Not when we got tired, not when we like our tongues hanging out, when they got tired. They just got bored. They say, shit, they tired of looking at these motherfuckers run. And usually if they got to that point, they tell you to do 10 more. Right? But at my particular high school, Archbishop Carroll High School, that was early 80s. Anybody who remember those times, Carroll was like a dominant team. You know, either beat the hell out of somebody or have like some crazy comeback at the last minute or something, right? And part of the reason was just the coach's philosophy. Those who might be familiar with Carroll around that time, you know, their philosophy was you got to play like 4 quarters to beat us, right? And a lot of times when other teams were slowing down and stuff in the fourth quarter, Carroll's teams would catch a second win. And it was always something that I applied to life, right? Sometimes when you're tired, that's when you push harder, right? And I was thinking about that this morning when I came, to the gym. I really didn't feel like working out. I didn't. And it was nobody, I've had, got some routines from a personal trainer, but, I haven't worked with her in a couple of weeks, right? I haven't worked with her in a couple of weeks. In fact, I thought that was my personal trainer. I was yelling out the window and whatnot, right? But, ain't worked out with her, so there was nobody there to push me. If I didn't show up, they didn't have anything to do it. So, and hell, they didn't have any accountability other than to myself. But what did I do? Yeah, I could have just sat home and said, I could take a day off. Or I went in and I put extra weights on. I went in and did I started off with a superset of pull-ups and push-ups. It's probably my best set ever since I started doing that particular superset, right? I just came in and just said push it. Just in my mind said you got to push it. I'm gonna tell you what, and this ain't about just getting women, man. That's one thing, man. Everything I'm gonna talk about is not always about getting women, but just about in life, man. And especially if you want to win in life, man, sometimes you gotta push it, man. Like I give you an example because people know I write for O'Shea Duke Jackson's site, the Negro Manosphere, right? There are times I do not feel like writing. There are times, and I was like, but of course I got deadlines and stuff, and I always try to get it like it going at least a little bit before the deadline. But this times I don't feel like writing. And there's times I have no idea what I'm gonna write other than like a title, but I push it, and that's everything in life. Sometimes, like if you're going downhill, right? Here's an analogy. If you're going downhill, it's easy to run downhill. Shoot, it's easy to run downhill, but then you gotta go back uphill, and that's when you really gotta push it. That's when you gotta call on something, right? And getting back to that freshman football example, that's one thing, like, especially when I used to run more. I used to do that maybe last half a mile or last 100 yards or something. I'd straight up sprint, right? You finish off strong. That's when you got to push it, and that's how it is in life. I mean, it's easy when stuff is going for you, right? Life is easy. It's easy when you're going downhill. It's easy when things click. It's when things don't click, and there's going to be times things don't click. That's just how life is. That's just the rhythm of life. I mean, it doesn't stay daylight all the time. It becomes night, and it don't stay night all the time. So it's like you can apply that in business. Like during business times when it look like it'll be slow, that's when I get more creative. And I say, oh, okay, let me hold up. Let me figure out a webinar I could do, or let me do an on-demand video, or let me go hard on something on one of my regular videos, something I know will fire people up. You just push it harder. Now, see, a lot of people, they don't push it, right? They get in a comfort zone, right? They get in a comfort zone and they're like, oh, I can't do this. Like, I've seen a lot of people do this for business. Let's keep it off relationships for a while, right? I've seen a lot of people do this in business, or they trying to get something going, or they got some project, and then as soon as they run into a little bit of stuff instead, or some some pushback or something like that, instead of saying, hold up, I gotta go harder now, they just say, oh, I can't get past this. And then they wonder why they haven't like succeeded or anything. I mean, that's anything in life. Like let's take it back to relationships for a second. You get some dudes, they complain that they can't get a woman or something, or a woman ain't checking them out, but then if you talk to them, they've only approached like a few women. They've only approached a few, right? I say a 20, that's a few, man, trust me. And they're like, oh, women just don't like me and they hate me. And like, well, did you just keep going? Because even, one of my favorite stories with that, right? There was this dude I knew, right? And I know somebody gonna say some dumb shit, but it's just some of the people I know. This dude was facing a prison sentence like the next day, right? He was facing a prison sentence. He happened to get off though, right? he was facing a prison sentence, and he wanted to get some pussy before he went to prison. He actually beat the case, but he wanted to get some pussy before he went to prison. So I was going to like this pool party, right? And dude was really out of his element, because understand, I hang out with everybody. So this dude was kind of like a street cat, and I took him to a bougie party. But he was determined, and he was going to get some pussy. That dude approached everybody. I talked about him before, because I used the term mode 0. Not mode 1, that motherfucker went mode 0. It's like, hey, I'm a Roger Curry look at that motherfucker and be like, God damn, that's impressive. But that dude, he was determined, because that dude liked to fuck, and he was bold enough, nobody's going to take his ass, but at the same time, he wasn't taking nobody else's. He wasn't going to flow that way, so he said he had to get some pussy. In fact, he the type of motherfucker, even if he went to prison, he'd have fucked a prison, like a female prison guard or something. But anyway, right? That dude was determined to fuck somebody. And that dude got shot down blatantly by about 4 or 5 women at this spot. Like blatantly, it wasn't even nice. It was like 4 or 5 nuclear rejection. Until he got to this one woman. He just kept pushing. He got to that one, got with it, beat the case. Was fucking her for about 6 months, right? That's the thing anybody got to do. Like sometimes when you at your lowest or shit ain't going well, you gotta just push it, man. You gotta reach down, man. Find something within you, man. Cause like I'm gonna tell you what, like a lot of people always wondered about my philosophy in life. But if I had to name a philosophy, you could probably say it's social Darwinism, right? Or Nietzscheism, right? Whatever term you want to use, survival of the fittest, right? Like life ain't meant to be easy. Life ain't meant to be easy. Conflict is there for a reason. Chaos is there for a reason. You got to force your way through anyway. You know what I'm saying? You gotta force your weight. You gotta push it. If you want anything in life, it don't have to be women. It could be money, better position, global domination. You're gonna have to push it. So, anyway, that's it for now, yo. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.